That's what I love about this program. Again, it feels like old times. So, and then when he was talking about J.J. McCarthy, like I wrote today, looked like he was playing in a video game in the spring, and we'd heard that about him. The one thing, I will talk about J.J. McCarthy's talent, but the one thing I love most about him is his humility. And you know what? A guy like that is going to be a winner. He's going to be a great leader, and people are going to follow him. So he's got all the skills. We know that. But on top of that, he is one of the most down-to-earth kids that you could ask for. So love that about him. Loved everything I heard from Sherrone Moore, and I've sung Sherrone Moore's praises forever. I think he's a future head coach, maybe even at Michigan down the road. He can pick his spots. That's how popular he is and how hot he is right now. You hear about these hot young coaches, and sometimes they don't pan out. I don't see that in any way, shape, or form for Sherrone Moore, who, again, also a humble guy, but an outstanding football mind. So loved everything I heard.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of the J.J. McCarthy thing, going back to what Moore said about, being able to be more explosive through the passing game, which is something I feel like I've been harping on for 2 years here. But, Moore basically said, there are areas where they need to be able to, exploit and stretch those defenses out more. And, I think when people talk about, expanding Michigan's passing game, oftentimes it's been, they need to throw the ball more, or they need to take more shots down the field. And, we've all discussed it here. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think you just need to be a little bit better converting on those opportunities that you do have. And Sherrone more or less said that too. Ball placement needs to be better. Guys have to hold on to the football, a couple deep balls down the field where, guys had their fingertips on them, and you got to make those plays. You got to come up. You can't leave to be a national champion. There is no meat you can leave on the bone. I feel like that's something that, that was a phrase that we heard in almost every post-game press conference, it felt like last year, or when guys would talk about what that next step is for them. So for me, I think there's, there is a self-awareness of this whole football operation right now where, when things are so good, you look to the margins where you can improve. And I don't think they have to really fundamentally, it's been a talking point this week, what do they have to do to take that next step as a program, as an offense, as a defense, all three phases of the game. To me, it's all on the margins. It's doing the little things a little bit better, not leaving those opportunities on the field. And, I just think with more experience, people forget J.J. McCarthy was he wasn't, a generational guy right out of the box. And he's still, working on things that could put him into contention to be drafted fairly highly either next year or the year after that. But still a guy who was making the first 13 starts of his career. And, with a full off season under his belt, more synergy between he and Sherrone Moore, which, they've had a relationship going back to his recruitment. I mean, it's just when you have that type of continuity and communication, you do have the ability to improve on the margins. So for me, I think that's the fact that Moore and Michigan see that, I think is, I think they're a little less stubborn than people think they are when it comes to how they're going to be offensively this year.
Yeah, and I think to go along with that, when you just look at this Michigan offense as a whole, and it ties in with JJ as well, it just feels like this year they have the opportunity to build more off of the year before with the pieces you have coming back. I mean, the offensive line is a little bit plug and play, but, I mean, most of the receiving core, I know Ronnie Bell's a decent loss, but you have Blake Corum back, you have Donovan Edwards back, you have J.J. McCarthy back, and others. But now J.J. isn't competing for the starting job. He's healthy for one, and two, this is his offense. They can make those corrections that Sherrone talked about, different things that they're trying to do differently and better this coming season.